Welcome to the Dreamers Hub podcast.
We can be whatever we dream.
This podcast is about collaboration between the dreamers and the doers to inspire more people to do more of the things they enjoy doing.
When you do what you love, you achieve so much more with your life.
So if you're into real people having some raw, unapologetic conversations, let's catch a vibe.
Today is your day.
And now, Nettie.
What up, y'all? We are back with episode 3, and today we have a special guest, my good friend Jerry here. Welcome to the Dreamers Hub podcast. So we got a special episode for you guys today. We are going to be talking about just personal goals and what we would call something like a ceiling as far as what you would consider your own goal or achievement to be maybe lesser or more than another person. And so based off that, we're going to get right into it and talk about, actually, Jerry, if you want to jump in here, because Jerry's actually the one that brought up the conversation, which I thought would be perfect for the podcast, because I feel like a lot of people do have a lot of aspirations and goals to go over, and there's different levels to that. So if you want to kind of introduce it.
Yeah, no. So my question, I think I'm going to hit you up the other day. My question was, just based off my personal experience, whether or not my dreams or goals or ceiling was either too low or did I achieve it? So I've always wanted to have a family, and I have that. I have a wife, I have 2 kids, we have a place and stuff. So that's always what I wanted to have. So what I wanted to do was question that, like, did I achieve my goal, or did I set the bar too low? And I think that's a question that, like, I'm just constantly having all the time. Like, do I need more, or should I have more?
For me, I thought that was the goal that I had. And when I did have it, I was still, because I am the way I am, I was still thinking to myself, well, there's more. There's more out of life, because there's different areas of life in general. You have, your family life, you have your finances, you have, let's say, fitness goals.
Right.
And sometimes those don't all attain to it. But I think that's perfect, because I think a lot of us run into having to, I guess, compare, because obviously we have social media now.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not compare yourself, and how do you not, I guess, for lack of better words, put down other people if their goal and aspiration is to simply be that?
Yeah.
And I think that for a lot of people, it's hard to differentiate that. So maybe we can pick that topic apart, based off you bringing it up. But I think the very first thing we should talk about is, for you personally, and because I know you obviously personally, but I guess maybe if you want to give somewhat of a background as far as, like, okay, now that you're at this age, you knew from a very young age that you wanted to be a dad.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what I was saying a while back was, if you ask, like, my younger sister, she would say all the time that I wanted to be a dad since I was like 13 years old, which is, not 100% true, but it kind of is. Like, I've always just wanted to have kids and a family, and not that I wanted to do anything just to have that. It took steps, and it took finding the right person to be able to do those things. But now that I have it, I kind of feel like, on the one hand, like, I've accomplished my goal, like,
yeah,
and that's okay. Like, but in there's a bunch of smaller goals that are things that I need to accomplish, because I want to maintain what I've already have. So every day or every week or every month, there's a new thing that's set, just to maintain what I've accomplished and keep that.
Yeah.
And also that what I've already accomplished is or what I wanted to do is not less significant because it's not somebody else's dream or somebody else's goal or whatever anybody else wanted to do in their life, because they wanted to set the bar really high and take over the world. And that wasn't for me.
Right.
And it's still okay.
Yeah, it's totally okay. And I think one way to look at it too is, let's say, for example, I have family members that solely come to the U.S. just to find a job. They don't even care what the job is, as long as they can provide for the family back home. Yeah. And they will stick it out for years. I have family in the restaurant business that have been cooks or line chefs or whatever, that have been doing that for years. And to them, that's their ceiling. That's their goal, is to be able to provide for family. But on the flip side of that, you also have people that aspire for more. And hypothetically speaking, is let's say if I was a billionaire, like if I was a billionaire and I was able to achieve that goal, what does that look like in the other areas of my life? Am I alone because I've only been solely focused on that? Does that make you a better person because, or a more, I guess, equipped human being because you have the happiness that maybe somebody up here wouldn't necessarily have?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with perspective. Like if on the flip side of that, if I have, just a normal ass life and I got my family and our small, little bubble that we live in, and I look at someone like that has, you know, tons of money, traveling the world and stuff, is that something that I want or something that I should have wanted to begin with? Like, did I just become complacent, or did I just really, am I truly happy?
Yeah. And I think that's where people might get it confused is if you have something like social media and people constantly posting like, their highlight reels of the best thing. And I'm not saying that social media is bad, but I think if you are not in the right mindset, it can be very toxic.
Right.
And sometimes, even for me, I know where I've had to unfollow, or I'm very weary of who I'm following now because subconsciously it was making me feel like I constantly had to be doing something because I constantly saw other people doing something. And then I started thinking like, well, I need that pair of shoes. I need it because this person keeps posting it constantly. Yeah. So now it's in the back of my head. And I think that I guess in simpler times, like I know when I was growing up, like playing outside, I didn't think about all these things, and you look at the youth now, and the youth seems to be a lot more, or growing up faster, because there's so much access to so much information where if you were naive to things, you maybe would only aspire for certain things.
Right. Social media is huge. It's a lot of people's lives. So I didn't think about those kind of things until there was social media, until I saw things on Instagram or wherever you might see them and think like, hey, like that's something that I've never seen before and I want that. Or there's a pair of shoes or something small like that, and I know somebody that also got that, like maybe I'm not doing or as well as that person. So it kind of makes you a little bit down on yourself.
Oh, dude, that kills me. Yeah, that's so crazy. That kills me because I think that's like a big thing that's like misunderstood, and it's all marketing, and there's so much money in social media that it's crazy how it fucks with you psychologically to think like, damn, I need this because I saw it. And you might not like think about it at the time because you're just like scrolling. But it's not until like you almost start feeling bad about yourself. And that's where like I feel like the whole goal thing happens, and you start thinking back or reflecting on, have I done enough?
Yeah. Or am I doing okay? Like there's no one to sit there and tell you you've done enough, or you're on the right path. It's your perspective on whether or not you think you've done enough, or you think you're on the right path, or if you need more. And a lot of looking at other people or sitting back and kind of judging yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people put themselves down, and there's not enough people that are stepping back and thinking about the things that they have, and more people are thinking about the things that they want or whatever, and not appreciating that kind of stuff.
So how do we, like, now that we're having this conversation, because I feel like this is a common thing and maybe not something that a lot of people voice, because I mean, maybe you probably haven't even thought about it up until now, us talking about it out loud, but how would you suggest, or if you've had to deal with it yourself, because I know I have, but like, what have you done to kind of step back and tell yourself you're in the right spot? You should be happy with what you have. You're not necessarily complacent, but I don't know. I guess talk to me a little bit about your mindset when it comes to that.
I mean, you'd have to like definitely sit there and think about, I mean, if it makes you happy, and if you're happy or are you just kind of happy because you think you're supposed to be? I know, like, if I sit down and think about the things that I have and what I've achieved, it might not necessarily mean anything to somebody else, and from a different perspective. Like, I may not have achieved anything, but for me, I've done a lot to
Get to where you're at.
get to where I'm at.
Yeah.
And it's not a lot of people that would see where I'm at and think of it's anywhere. But I'm happy with where I'm at. And
Yeah.
I'm truly okay with just living in my little place and having my little family and providing for that. I don't have aspirations of being a millionaire. I never wanted to be famous. I never wanted to have followers. And a lot of people do. And that's fine. And it's completely okay. But also, just because I don't want that or I'm probably never going to have that, doesn't make it any less okay.
Yeah. And I think that's important for people to hear, because I think it's easy to fall into a trend and what's cool.
Yeah.
And the way I feel like, I mean, to live this life and learning this now, at this age, I'm 33, learning that it's okay to have the bad days. It's okay to have the good days, and learning how to zoom out outside of social media to be able to actually see it for what it is.
Right.
Because social media at the end of the day is a business. It's a multi-billion-dollar business that's making money on a regular by using influencer or whatnot. But at the idea that it's also a place where you can learn a lot, right? You can find out a bunch of things really fast, instant gratification. You can keep communication with the world, essentially.
Yeah.
How you portray yourself on social media, I think, has a lot to do with it. But also having in mind that you can be impacting somebody without realizing that you're impacting somebody.
Yeah,
and that can be good and bad.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were talking about it earlier when we were saying stuff like, if I'm going out for the night and I'm just posting the best parts of the night, could be the worst night of my life. Could be the most boringest night. I just didn't do anything really, but there was 5 seconds where, I may have had a good time and I posted that. And you get those 5 seconds of my 5-hour night in 6 or 7 different stories. And then that was it. That's all you saw. So now, yeah, that looks like I had a great time. And then you have this other person that's maybe a follower of yours or someone that just came across your story, and they just saw how you are basically interpreting that that's your life.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and it's not. The reality is you're only going to see the best parts of things. I'm never going to show you the worst parts of especially on social media.
Oh yeah, you definitely don't want your business.
I'm not gonna be like, hey, well, I mean, there is actually some people there.
There is people like that, but I think, to your point, to go back to like, if you're posting or Snapchatting or whatever, and you're like, out here in the club, and then it is maybe the worst night of your life, and maybe that is why you're out, but people don't know that because obviously, for obvious reasons, people don't want to post the negative. And I think it's okay to like post what's happening or, life experiences where you feel like you have to share. I think it's okay to a certain level. But also there's parts of life that should stay private, I believe. But back to the point is you have subconsciously gave somebody FOMO.
Yeah.
And it's the worst night of your life.
Exactly. And now
that's fucking crazy.
And then that person's over here sitting there striving to feel like I want to be like that person because that person is always having a good time, but it's not reality necessarily.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is reality. Sometimes you did have a great time and you see all that stuff, but you can't live your life through, or you can't aspire to be like that without actually knowing what's going on. And trying to do so, it's there's a lot of people that are trying to do so, and I think in my head it's crazy. I think recently not recently, it's probably a little while back, but I've decided a long time ago that like I don't post a lot in anything anymore. I didn't really post it before, but like now if you look at it, it's less. Like I'm pretty sure the last time I posted something is like my child's birth, and he's like a year and a couple months now. Like,
damn, it's been that long.
Yeah, like I just don't like. I'm trying not to live my life through a 4.5-inch screen.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't want to when you go to concerts and you see, or somebody goes to a concert and you see it on Instagram, and you can see the entire concert on somebody's story.
Yeah, that's true.
And
But did they actually experience it?
Yeah, but they're not experiencing it. No, I don't think they are, because like you watch the concert through your phone the entire time. Like, you're telling me like you had a good time. Like, no, you want to show me that you're having a good time, and you're more concerned about what I'm seeing as opposed to what's happening in front of you.
In front of you, yeah.
And I don't know. That's super crazy. I
Yeah.
know we kind of got off topic on it because like I don't know. Social media is like such a huge
It is.
topic.
No, but it affects a lot of your day and it affects a lot of your goals and aspirations. I think to some extent it's okay to like follow certain people that inspire you to push for more, because I'm the type of person that needs to, whatever area in life I'm trying to progress in, whether that's financially, fitness, or whatever. Like when I'm really on my fitness game, I'm following whoever I feel can motivate me or has good workouts or whatever. When I'm not on my fitness game, I'm fucking passing through that real quick on it, because I just don't want to see it. But right now, like, since I'm trying to do social media in a way where it's positive, it's uplifting because of this type of conversation that we're having, to me, that's important. To me, it's important for me to put myself out there and talk about my highs and my lows because I can, and I'm okay with being open and transparent about that. But I know that not a lot of people obviously use social media for that. I'm probably the one small percentage that's able to talk about both sides, so that way you can fully see who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where for a lot of people, no, you're only seeing those 3 seconds, those 15 seconds of them being somewhere. And that's the fucked up part about social media, is that it fucks you up mentally. Like you think about it and it affects the way people either strive or don't strive, because sometimes people quote like are doing really great, phenomenal, and you're just like, fuck, I'm not doing shit.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting here with, I go to work every day and I come home and I take care of whatever. Maybe you got kids. Like, I mean, personally, like, I come home and like, all right, like, watch the kids for a minute and hope my wife comes home and on time, because those little brats are a lot. And I mean, I love
but that's real life.
But yeah, but it's real life. And it took a minute to realize that, like, what I wanted was to have what I have. And every day is, and it's hard to do the same thing every day. But like, that's what I wanted. And anything that's worth having is worth working for.
100%.
And that goes with anything. It goes with just having a family. If I wanted to have a family, then I need to work every day to make sure that my family is good. And we're going to have bad days and we're going to have good days. If I wanted to be married, I should work every day to make sure my marriage is good. And we're going to have bad days, and you throw kids in there, and sometimes you have more bad days than good days and that kind of stuff. But like, that was my goal. And now that I've achieved that goal, like, I constantly, after talking with my wife, actually, we decided, like, I mean, not we decided, but we realized that we're not done, but we just have smaller goals to maintain our overall happiness and our overall goal that we've already achieved. And it's just small things like getting through the week or getting through the day.
Dude.
You know what I mean? Like my goal, like, sometimes is just to get through this day, because I know it was a hard day at work.
Can we normalize that though?
Yeah.
Getting through the fucking day. I can tell you yesterday I had a fucking day.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Getting through the day and making that a goal is okay. And once you realize that you can get through that day and you've accomplished that goal, you can grow that. And you can make that into, all right, now I'm going to also get through this day, but I'm also going to get through this week. And then once you get through that week, then like, this month I'm going to achieve this and doing it. And it's just going to keep going. So yeah.
It's like a snowball effect or domino effect. Mm-hmm.
And in a positive way. And it's not, I mean, and things, if you don't pay attention to them, can snowball in a negative way.
Really fast.
Fucking fast.
Yeah.
So I think I wanted to say, like, or when I first brought up the question of like whether or not I achieve my goal, or did I aim too low? My aim is perspective. You know,
Yeah.
did I aim too low to somebody else that didn't want that or doesn't want that or has no aspirations to do anything like that? Maybe. I don't think I did. Do I think I achieved what I wanted to? Yeah, but it takes a lot more. There's a lot more to it to continue to maintain it and to keep
Maintain it. Yeah. Yeah. And I think the other part of that is, you know, your perspective on your reality is completely different from mine, because I can tell you that I see you and I'm like, wow, he's happy. You know, I've known since high school that you've always wanted kids and like you wanted to be married and stuff. Like that's not something that I didn't not know about you.
I'm just tired.
That's just not something that I didn't know about you. But like for me, I've always been into like the creative field of whatever, and it hasn't been till now that I'm really like embracing it.
Yeah.
And even though I don't have a big ass following, I'm not making any money off of this shit. Like I am the happiest I have ever been.
Exactly.
But I was making X amount of money, living a pretty good lifestyle, traveling. I had the family, I had the house, and it doesn't even compare.
Yeah, not as fulfilled as you are now without those things.
Without those things. But it took the universe completely ripping that apart from me for me to really like be like, wow, it really comes down to what is my reality? What is my perspective on things? And I really do think that having to go through all these life lessons and experiences, which I know you've had your own, like it makes you really appreciate the little things.
Definitely.
Where take out fucking social media, take out all of that, and appreciate this type of conversation, because this is going to mean more, not only to you and I, but to somebody listening or watching, where it's like normalize getting past that one fucking day.
Yeah. Normalize having, lower aspirations than the next person. I think a lot of people are that's probably why we had such a big social media thing, because that's how you look at other people's lives. So
yeah,
if you have a social media conversation, that's why some people are sitting there with feeling bad about the things that they have, because they didn't, they see somebody else living that shit that they want. And I mean, if that's what you want to do, do it. I'll
by all means, yeah.
Exactly. Like, if that's what you want to do and that's what you want to achieve, but don't feel bad about not having it. Because, I mean, that person that posted that something that you wanted or that place that you wanted to go to did not think about you one time.
Jeez. Damn, dude. No, yeah, for sure. That's a big thing too. And I feel bad because I feel like we're still in kind of like a limbo generation where we can kind of differentiate the two. We can appreciate the small things where you think about, fuck, when I used to play with pogs or marbles outside and like playing tag or, riding bikes, or you don't have that. Well, not, yeah, obviously. But you don't have that anymore. And, I've been around kids and stuff, and it's all about screen time. It's all about managing the iPad. The iPad is now the new babysitter.
That's a whole nother subject.
That's a whole nother subject. I know, but
we have that issue right now. Not that issue, but we're trying to.
You have to limit it.
We started like saying no, like let's limit it, and then we got really comfortable with like just do what you want, have a good time, and then we're like, nah, it's.
You got to retract.
Yeah, for sure. There's some shit on there that she's been learning, and I'm like. I did not teach you to act that way. Like, there's no way
This came from us.
Yeah, this came from me. I don't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I know it's wrong. Like, it's.
Yeah.
I've never once went to my daughter and been like, ha, you lost. But like, I remember watching a video one time where she was watching. I was like, no. I'm sorry, YouTube kids, but.
Yeah.
Fuck no.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is like normalizing just spending quality time is not being on your phone or being on social media. And I think that's where we lose that. We lose that simplicity in life because we're constantly on our phones. Yeah. And because if you, like in my case, trying to grow a following or trying to build, for me, it's like building a community, right? Community around positivity and how we can flip this shit to be positive, so that if you do come to any of my platforms, you're going to get something positive out of it, or you're going to leave here. For example, I would only hope that people can leave here and be like, well, fuck, you know what? Yeah, let's normalize getting through a fucking simple day.
Yeah.
Because sometimes those days are the hardest, and sometimes you don't have anybody to listen to or somebody to vent to. And obviously, for obvious reasons, people don't post their bad days on social media.
Yeah, we should normalize that. Let's all start posting our worst
It isn't
days.
fucked up.
Every day was horrible. Post your cry faces, those Kim K cry faces. I mean, let's get those out there. That's all I want to see from now on. Right?
Honestly,
I'm not gonna
if I saw you cry, I'd be like, damn.
If I saw
Well, if he can get through it, I can get through it.
Yeah,
but really, that's what it comes down to, is being able to see that other people like yourself, like ourselves, we're regular ass people with a regular ass job, you know, trying to get through the day. And at the end of the day, look, if your ceiling or your goal or achievement is just getting through the day, that's okay. If your goal is to be a fucking billionaire, that's okay too. But I will say this, if you have those bigger aspirations, work on different areas of your life where you can achieve those little goals to build that momentum for yourself.
Yeah.
Because motivation can only get you so far.
Right. It's also work. It's a lot of fucking work.
Yeah, it's more discipline than anything.
Yeah. I mean, with your new venture now, like it's a lot of fucking work. It's more work than I realized.
Yeah.
Just
setting this up.
Yeah, just setting this up. I'm over here sweating, trying to attach a microphone. Like
no, it's a lot. It's a lot. But like I said before, I went through having a lot of money at one point and being able to live a certain lifestyle, where now I don't have any of that and I don't have shit figured out. But I can tell you that this to me is a lot more meaningful and a lot more fulfilling.
Yeah.
And so leaving on that fulfilling part, I would just want to say, like, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, as long as you're fulfilled at the end of the day, like, that's probably that's the biggest priority that you should have.
Right. Yeah, no, and that's kind of why that's why I hit you up and wanted to have this kind of conversation, because, you're doing these things and you're definitely creating this following, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Fucking awesome. But, like, it's not for me, and it's okay. Like, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And not that there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it's okay that I don't have that dream. And we don't all have to have the same kind of goals, and we don't all have to have the same ceilings, but we can all, just be okay with, not okay. We should be happy with what we have and what we're doing with, and not have to worry about the next person or whether or not you think mine is different or less significant than yours.
Right. I would say don't put people's lives on pedestals.
Yeah.
Because I think if we were to do that to each other, I don't think that we would, be able to have this conversation, because I feel like that also builds some type of animosity between people, where it's like they're low-key hating on you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm genuinely happy for you that you're happy, and I would only hope the same would be reciprocated. And that's for anybody that I come across. Is like, I want everybody to win and be happy with whatever the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
There's friends that I have that want to be lawyers or want to be, I could never do anything like that. But at the end of the day, like, if that makes them happy and they're grinding it out, like, holy shit, more props to you.
Yeah, as long as you're doing the work and you're happy about it, that's fine with me. I mean, not with me. Who cares about what I'm saying? But I'm saying it's fine for you. Be happy with what you are doing. And I think that's kind of what I wanted to make.
For sure. All right, y'all. I'm going to leave you guys with that. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you guys took something positive that you can apply to yourself. And thank you so much, Jerry, for bringing up the question and coming on the podcast with me and being the first official guest on the podcast. Hey.
That's right.
We out.
Hold up. One more thing. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Dreamers Hub podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, rate, and share with the real ones in your life. Be sure to tune in to more inspirational content next week. Peace.